Hello, woohoo, and
Hello.
welcome to Friends Like Us. I am here with
Uh,
Evelyn
Evelyn Frick.
and Marina Franklin. That's who I am. It's Saturday. We do this every Saturday. I did that extra.
It's good. It's
So,
good.
so what's up, Evelyn? What you been up to?
Yeah. My girlfriend's mom is visiting us, which is really nice. She's from Minneapolis, so we don't get to see her too often. Yesterday we went to the Met. And I only recently discovered that there's like a rooftop bar on top of the Met,
Yes, I
so you can like go
well,
up there and get a drink. It's really pretty.
I have a very
And
fun story.
Oh yeah, and it's like a really great view of the park. So we did that, and got a little buzzed before looking at some old paintings. Yeah, and then today we've just kind of been walking around Brooklyn and Prospect Park. Yeah, it's been a really lovely 2 days so
Oh, I
far.
didn't realize I didn't have my mic here. I'm really off today. Could you still hear me?
I can still hear you, but I was like, huh, like Marina's audio sounds a little bit different. But I could still
Sorry.
hear you well.
I was like, oh, I looked over and I was like, the microphone is over there. Welcome to Friends Like Us, everybody. Marina Franklin here with Evelyn Frick. And she was at the Met and she was at the top. And let me tell you something.
Yeah.
I did that years ago with my ex,
Hmm.
and there was food up there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was hungry and he was broke.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'll just go get some chips. It's no problem. So I go and get the chips.
Hmm.
I buy, and we had a great time there. And then we get back to my place, and he's like sulking in the corner, like he's like pouting. He's got this weird like
Yeah.
look on his face, like he doesn't know why he's angry. I'm like, what's going on with you? Like
Yeah.
like a child. You ever see a
Yeah.
child
Yeah.
just like, I'm upset.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So I go, what's the problem? He goes, I couldn't afford food and I didn't want you to do that. And I was like, but I was hungry. It's not a big deal.
Yeah. It
Like
wasn't just for you.
you don't have to ever go through that because you're both girls,
Yeah.
women. Do you ever find that when you are on a date? Like, is there any like
I've honestly not on like a date. I think that's usually because I don't like, I'll go maybe on like one or two dates with someone, but never like, more than like three or four usually. I think three or four is when like dudes are like, oh, now I can be kind of childish if I want to. Like the first few, they're like on best behavior.
but do they get upset about you paying like because you're with another see like I feel like when you're like the
Yeah,
hetero
yeah,
conversation is like guy doesn't want you to pay. But the non-hetero
yeah.
conversation, where does that go? Where is it?
I mean, my girlfriend and I, we usually just like switch off paying,
That's awesome. See,
or
it's not a big
it,
deal.
no, not, and I mean, we also like, we use this app called Splitwise, which is really nice. So like we put all of like our monthly expenses, in there. And then like at the end of the month, we like settle up, just to like keep things
Mm.
like as even as possible. Yeah, so like that like helps a lot for sure. But yeah, no, we usually just like switch off paying.
That's
And
so your generation. You have an app
we
for
do
this?
have an app, yeah,
Yeah.
for like keep it's just like really helpful to keep track of like who paid for what. So we're, not one person isn't paying for the bulk of things, and also like helpful for like paying for when like one of us like pays for like gas or Wi-Fi or whatever. It keeps it even. But I have had guys be like, oh no, like I will pay, and it's like, okay, I'll let you do that then.
Didn't have money to pay. That was the thing.
Right, right. Yeah, and it's like you were hungry, so, like, it's not like you were buying, like, the chips for him.
He was like, "I
It was
told you
like,
I didn't have any money." And I was like, "That's why I bought chips."
"Oops." Yeah. Oh man.
I haven't said hi to any of our friends. Hello, everybody. Oh, yes, the
Hello.
sexy librarian is here. I forgot to put on lipstick today. Ooh. And hello, Gregory C. This is your first time here.
Yeah, I think
Good
so.
evening, Robin. Tell your
Hello.
daughters hello. Roxbury, hi. And Mike Dickatoo, what up? We have some
Hello.
regulars here. If you're new and you're
Mhm.
joining us, like Gregory C., tell us where you are residing, where you're at,
Yeah.
because we don't know. And this is exciting for us. We get people from all over. We've had them from Ethiopia to Sweden
Yeah.
to all over the world to uh, the Bronx.
Yeah.
And
That's so
we
funny.
we do this to promote the podcast, which is scrolling underneath. You see that? It says Friends Like Us podcast here at the Linktree / Marina Y. Franklin. I'll put it again in the chat. Marcus Fuller's in Chicago. I will be there next weekend. Don't rob me. I have ADT. I always have to say that now.
No, I've had to say that also when like posting that I'll be somewhere, just be like, someone else will be home. Like my place will not be empty.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was Nick someone a star was recently robbed in her house.
Oh, I
I'm
think
not
I
trying
heard about that. I can't remember who it was, but I do remember seeing something like
not Nicki
that.
Minaj. If you know in the chat who it was, but it's like people post so much and celebrities
Yeah.
post when they're on trips, when
Yeah,
they
yeah.
post their good life. And so guess what? The thieves are watching. This is a new
Yeah.
way. So you gotta be careful.
Yeah. It
I'll
might have
say, oh,
been.
hi, Beatrice. Hi.
Hello.
How old is Beatrice?
That's a good
Just say
question.
hi to her yourself. Okay. Yes, I just did. And how old is Beatrice? Beatrice, by the way, everyone's cool here. I know you're like of a certain age and you're like, this is like really not cool. That's what my nieces do to me. This last week I spoke to them and I was like, my eyes started ticking because they were being teenagers. And I was like, all right, we gonna hang up and we're gonna start over again.
Right, right. That's so funny. Yeah, I don't interact with too many teenagers, but I have a few cousins who are like 13, 14. And so like they're definitely at that age where like it's not cool to care about stuff. So if you show any sort of enthusiasm, yeah,
14.
yeah, if you
Yes.
show any sort of enthusiasm about something, it's not cool. So, um, I'm back at the age now where it's like I love to hear what people are interested in. So that's definitely a thing to battle when talking to them.
I asked my niece, I said, what are you doing for Thanksgiving? And she's like, having dinner.
Oh my
I was like,
gosh.
okay, look, we gonna hang up and we gonna
Yeah.
restart. Because
Yeah.
TT Rena don't have to do this.
Right.
I get heated. I get with teenagers, I get real fast. I get quick real fast.
Yeah, yeah.
So Beatrice, be nice. Be nice. Um, so I'm having a hot flash right now.
Oh
Oh God.
no.
I went to the farmer's market too.
Oh, how was it?
The farmer's market was it was busy. I got there early today. The guy
Nice.
who's really happy with the bike helmet was there that I
Of
can't
course.
stand. And it looked like hadn't been there in a long time. And
Mm,
he was looking around like it was new to him. It was kind of
mm.
funny.
Yeah.
Uh, like he was like, "Oh, all these new people here. What's going on?" I
Yeah,
should
yeah.
Jessica always loves that story. But and then I always have this situation in New York City. I don't know, Evelyn, if you go through this, the rush,
Hmm.
the people, I've been here for 20 something years and I still don't like it when people rush me.
Oh, yeah.
And
Because
this
you
woman
can't take your time with anything.
with nothing.
Mhm.
I mean, there was no line at this stand where I was getting my organic vegetables. And
Yeah.
this woman was like all on top of me. And I was like, there's no line. You can go around if you want. But it's like body language, right? I'm very
Yeah.
aware. So I was like, "Don't rush me. Don't stop being on top." Like I missed the 6 feet rule.
Oh, yeah, no, me too. I like when I am like in line for things, I still try to like do that for myself when I can. But yeah, it's like, please don't be on top of me. Yeah, like I'm glad you said something. Like I never like I hate confrontation so much that I usually just like keep it inside. Sometimes people just need to hear like just go around. It's fine.
Yeah, you could go around. I said, it's literally, there's no line. People create lines.
Yeah.
Like they need lines. They need some type of, I guess that's why we have a president.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I want to ask you this
Yeah.
and be okay. So you're a life enthusiast. Okay, we'll
That's good.
believe you. We'll believe you.
That's good.
I want to ask you about the student loan debt and the forgiveness. Do you
Yeah.
have to get that, or what's going on with
Yeah.
you?
So I'm very fortunate in that I am debt free.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm very, very like my parents are both college professors, they're academics. So when they were saving up to have kids, priority for them was being able to pay for us to go to college. So I'm really, really fortunate in that my parents paid for me to go to college.
That is nice.
And I
Yes.
don't have any debt. My girlfriend has some debt. She went to college and then has a master's degree. So she is, it's important to her, for to get like 10K wiped out, and I think was also applying for the student debt forgiveness program. So it's really disheartening to see so many legal challenges that it's facing right now, which also mostly I think from the Republican Party, which I don't get really. Like I don't think people aren't gonna like you if you take away their money or
Well,
money that's been
we
promised to them.
forgave the banks, didn't we do that?
Oh yeah, the banks were bailed out
They
by
were bailed out, so
the
why can't
government.
we? Yeah. So what's the difference?
Yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. Because also the argument like for bailing out the banks was, oh, this will be good for the American people. It'll help the economy. Like it's also going to help the economy that bringing people out of debt. Like a lot of people, their student loan debts, whatever, are like 10K will completely wipe that out. So that's taking a huge burden off of people, and that means that they can spend more money on like going to restaurants or buying more, clothes or like whatever, and like that's good for the economy. Like why isn't like that the focus here?
Or
um
generational wealth.
yeah.
And I have a huge loan. I kicked out Juskow on purpose because I could see he was in the
That's
don't
funny.
tell him. But
Yeah.
yeah, I have a huge loan still. And
Yeah.
what happened was like I filled out the application and now this week it's on hold.
Yeah.
We have like what is it? It's so funny, like the wheels of justice really do turn slow, but I notice if you set things in motion, it's better than not.
Yeah, absolutely. I think like once you set things in motion, it's a little bit harder um to like slow it down, because I mean like it will, like there will be challenges to this. It's going to be on hold, but it's better than just like waiting and I think seeking approval and assuming that it's going to get stopped. So I'm glad that like the foundations are in place, like the application went live. So also that means like if it's approved by the courts, they can just like immediately start doing it again and start accepting more applications, forgiving more debt, stuff like that.
Believe it or not, 10 doesn't put a dent. It puts like a little scratch on mine. That's how bad mine is.
No, it's the
I
same with my girlfriend. It's not even half.
It's like, oof, I could use that help though. I filled it out and they make it difficult. I mean, you gotta
Yeah,
go on if you have a student loan, I believe you go on to the government for student loans, fill
yeah.
out that information. Also, you can get alerts. So you're not like
Oh, that's really
behind
smart. Yeah.
debt. Put alerts so that they let you know when anything is due.
That's really important. Yeah, I was seeing online too that a lot of people, or like some people that I know, were having issues where because of the pause on student loan payments, they haven't paid student loans in a few months, or a year or whatever, because they haven't had to. But in that time, their debts were sold from like one company to like a different company, and no one ever told them. So they're not like, the platform with which they pay, like the online portal, is like different now.
Mhm.
So they've had to like try to figure that out, and no one's really told them anything.
Sallie
So yeah, no,
Mae, Advantage. I think
yeah,
there was Navient. I don't know where they
yeah,
come up with these names, by the way.
yeah. I don't know.
Who are these?
Yeah, literally, like, who, like, it's just such a like a nameless, like faceless transaction. Yeah. So, but they also do. You're so right. They do make it really difficult to sign up for these, loan forgiveness, debt forgiveness, whatever, because they want it to be difficult. They don't want, everyone to be able to do it.
Just as
Um,
difficult as switching cable sometimes. Like, they just put Verizon in my building. I mean, it's not really in comparison, but
yeah,
Verizon is in my building, but sometimes the landlords in New York City, for those of you who aren't in New York, they do this. The landlords make a
yeah.
deal with a cable company, so you could only have one
Oh,
service.
interesting.
So, like, I only could get Spectrum for a while, and then
Hmm.
Spectrum was acting up this week, and they just installed Verizon in my building. I don't know how, I don't know what. Someone probably complained, probably that woman in the restaurant downstairs, because you know
Yeah,
how she's all linked in,
yeah,
but they put Verizon in our building, and now I know I have an advantage. I can leave.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I told them on the phone this week, I said, "I saw a little glitch on my TV. Imma leave y'all if you don't get it right."
That's
Let's
no,
let
it's good. It's important to have leverage, because like they will take like all their, like, I have Optimum, I think. Oh man.
I just wanted to randomly, I wanted to surprise, since he's being
That's
such a
good.
jackass in the green room, I wanted to uh-huh, keep it up. Keep it
That's
up.
so funny. I wish I could see his face in the green room.
We're gonna bring on the man. He's been in the back in the green room doing motions and singing and doing all kinds of crazy shit. We'll bring you on, but you better act right, because I will kick you out.
It's not
Okay?
good.
Welcome to the show, David
I don't
Juskow.
understand. What's the difference if I'm singing having a good time if I'm not on? I was singing that George Michael song. And
Was
now you
distracted.
tell me that you're
I
having my
could hear your dumb
baby.
hands
I'll
moving
tell
and
you that
stuff.
you want me if you want me
Oh, my
to.
God.
Oh, one
One
step
step
further
forward,
and my back will break.
and
If my best
best
isn't
isn't
good
good
enough,
enough,
then
and
how
how
can it
can
be
I
good
be good
enough for
enough for
two?
you?
Right?
Part two.
For two.
That is a mean song, by the way.
You think so? It's so brilliant.
Listen to the lyrics.
Well, he's gay anyway, so I don't even know why.
No, but the
That's probably why
lyrics,
he's
he's
so
like he's
angry.
like, he goes, "'Cause she wants to have a baby.
Right.
And
Well,
now
now she's having it.
you're having a
And now
baby.
you tell me that you're having my
I'll
baby.
tell you if
That
I'm
I'm ha-
happy if you
that I'm
want me
happy if you
to."
want me to.
Ugh, yeah, that's not
Yeah.
good.
Oh,
Yeah,
one step further and my back
I
will
will
break.
break.
But my best
See?
isn't good enough. How can it be good
And
enough
I
for
was singing that
two?
song once, and I was like, "This motherfucker." I
That
was like,
happens to me all the time. Like, I'll be singing something like, "Oh, the
Dude,
lyrics to this are
"I agree,
terrible."
Marcy.
dude,
I agree."
dude, dude. I
Oh,
don't know.
thank you,
Oh,
Jenny.
Jenny's
Thank
back.
you.
Oh man,
Yes.
I love that song. George Michael was a brilliant artist who, started off really like kind of weird, like in that band with Wham,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Wake Me Up Before You Go, and then just totally made up for it by just brilliant. And then it's so funny, him and Prince, I think they had the exact same label, and the management company just was so bothering them. They both died at 50.
That's so sad.
Great
Yeah,
example of
really
the record
bad.
company just getting too involved. It's so sad. They were brilliant, both brilliant artists, and a lot of we know Prince, but a lot of people didn't realize how good George Michael was. He has this unbelievable album that he made just before he died, which was really good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you look at the
Hi,
story
Jenny.
of Elvis too, even though I don't really get that sympathetic with Elvis because he took a lot from black artists and music, but still,
True.
I do have some sympathy for the fact that they
Because of the movie?
in the movie made me feel sorry for him than I used to feel.
That's what I heard. I couldn't watch past the hour mark. I wasn't into it.
Oh, you weren't?
No, I was just like, oh God, there's another hour to go. You know, it was one of those things. I'm watching the movie. I'm not enjoying it thoroughly.
You're
Even
like,
though I
why
love
do
Tom
it?
Hanks and I love that guy that played Elvis. He's so handsome. But
Austin Butler.
Oh, he was beautiful.
but then I'm looking and I'm like, how much left? And then I see another hour and I'm like, I don't know. But should I continue? Was it worth
Well,
it?
it just shows you how
Elvis,
what you were saying, kind of like how they really
The
they
record
soak you
industry
dry.
during the time that we were alive, you know, that when there was a record industry, used to just fuck with so many artists. It just ruined what
I
could have
think it
been. And
still does.
maybe, but nowadays, you know, besides unless you're Taylor Swift or somebody like that, you know, you can put out a single by yourself. You know,
That's true.
and you
That's
take your
true.
time, and nobody puts out albums anymore.
You're
So I
right.
feel like
No.
there's not the same pressure that they were putting on for sure Prince. And I remember there's this guy, I mean, I don't know if you guys are interested, but there's a guy, you know, this band called Boston that had this unbelievable first album that is just sick. And they were just, the record company was, you know, pressuring, and you got to come out with a new album. And the guy was like, I'll get you another album when I'm ready. And I guess that's not the way to do it either, because you still have to produce. But he waited another 3 years, which was unheard of back then, and he came up with another killer album. But yeah, they just kept pressuring him until he was just like, I'm done with this industry. So it happened to Billy Joel. I mean, obviously we talk about Billy Joel all the time on our
Well,
podcast.
you do.
You do.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm saying, I mean, a lot of your people are here from the Billy Joel podcast. So it's like, you know, this poor guy just got screwed, and he just gave up. He just said, I'm done.
Well, you know,
30 years ago.
We've had on the Friends Like Us podcast Autumn Rowe, who is a songwriter. She wrote she's written with some of the best of the best. Boy George. She was on not American Idol, but I believe it was I always get it wrong.
I think it
want
was
to say
The Voice.
The Voice. She did work with Simon Cowell though.
Yeah.
As and she
also
talks
Dua Lipa too.
Dua Lipa, yes, Dua Lipa, and the artist who just won an Grammy.
Oh, you're so right. Oh my gosh.
The guy. Why am I forgetting? John.
You're right, DJ Eric Prince. That's once they sign the contract, you're obligated
I'm blanking,
to produce.
but I know, like I can. Oh, John Baptiste.
John Baptiste, yes.
Oh, John
And
Baptiste.
so, yeah, and she wrote his his song that like won several Grammys, and she talks about that. She's actually fighting for it. The writers of music really get screwed. Like they can't afford a cup of coffee after a song that they've written, and
even
that
now.
isn't.
I mean, I know back then,
even now, and that's what they're fighting for. It's on Friends Like Us. So if you want to hear that, you know, you can look it up. Autumn Rowe. You can also find her on Instagram because they're doing so much, even with Spotify. I think Spotify takes advantage of a lot of artists, and that's why they pull their music off of Spotify. Even comedians have. Kevin Hart pulled his album off of Spotify.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there was also, I know, Alex Edelman said that like a few comedians were kind of getting together and like trying to like get Spotify to like pay them more for having their stuff on there, and then Spotify just like took it all down. They're like, we don't even want to bother with you, so we're just going to take it all down, which is crazy.
Yeah, so it's and their stock is doing really good actually.
That's so interesting, Marcy. I didn't know that.
Did you see that this week? Netflix shot up 15%.
No.
Why? Because they added ads? Because they gave the discount. Is that why?
I'm gonna tell you. Well, their earnings report came in pretty good, and then they also are doing that discount, and people like it.
Yeah.
It's available.
Weird. If you want to watch commercials, the exact opposite why you don't want Netflix. It's weird.
And their thing. And I've been watching Netflix as a stock for about for 6 months now, right?
Yeah.
So I saw the dip, and I was like, it's just not a good company. That's what I tried to convince myself. But then I saw them they were kind of like, as compared to the rest of the market, doing very well. And then they shot up 15%, and I was so mad I didn't buy stock.
Yeah, I guess it's because people like the discount, but even though you got to watch ads, which is so weird. I thought that's why people pulled the plug.
But people like
I don't know.
people still watch Hulu.
That's
There's ads on
true.
Hulu.
Yeah, there are ads on Hulu.
Oh, is that right?
You can buy it with, there's like a
Oh,
more
without it, I see.
premium, but
Well, I
a
guess
lot
that's
of
what
people.
I guess they stole the idea from Hulu, and they're like, I guess people don't care as long as they
Well,
get
it's
a
the
discount.
behavior. It's the behavior of Netflix is showing that they can adjust with the time, and they're still the leading streaming. So they're showing that they also have content that people really want to watch, like the Stranger Things and the Jeffrey Dahmer, which I hate, but still people liked it, and so people are still going to Netflix.
Hey, why do you hate the Dahmer thing? I was thinking about
I don't
watching
want to
it.
go into it, but it's a too deep. If you want to listen,
Oh, I'm
to
sorry.
why,
I know why. I'm sorry.
if you want to hear why, you can go on my podcast, Friends Like Us, and you can
No,
hear
you're
this.
the actual reason that that people are. Yeah, gotcha. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I think also like Netflix, like compared to other streamers I've seen recently, they haven't been dumping content as fast. Like HBO, like day to day, it's just you don't know what's on there anymore. And I think Netflix is like pretty consistent in that it's kept generally a lot of like its shows and like older things that like movies from like the 80s, 90s on there that people also want to
Evelyn,
watch
I mean,
are still there.
What was it? The Warner Brothers, like somebody bought out Warner Brothers or something, whatever the case may be. And it, they had HBO Max had that big, like, we have all this stuff, and then it just
is so good, and now it's not.
they just because somebody bought out somebody, and then they just changed everything. It's the same thing that happened with the Batman thing or something with the Michael Keaton, or they just stopped making the movie because it's something with Warner Brothers.
Yeah. Yeah,
I have watched The Watcher. Now, I don't mind watching fake crime or fake horror, but anything realistic I don't watch. And I've watched The Watcher is actually pretty good.
I've seen the first episode. So the premise is this actually is like based on real life, but like no one
it is?
died.
Oh, maybe I haven't watched this.
But it's a series, but it's like a fictionalized story. Like it's not like a docu series or whatever. But so the premise is that this like family buys a house and they move into the house, and then they start getting like creepy letters from this person who says he's like watching the house.
Oh yes, I have.
Yeah, and like says he's like, his dad like watched the house before him, and like his grandfather watched the house, and he's supposed to do it. And then all the neighbors are really creepy and fun, but like they're all like really good like actors. Like some of the neighbors are like Richard Kind and Mia Farrow. And I'm blanking on like Richard Kind's the actress who plays his wife is named Margot something, but I can't remember her last name.
Mia Farrow's in it too?
Yeah, she is. I was really surprised by that. But yeah, I've only seen one episode thus far.
The people of Staten Island are pissed. Good.
That's perfect.
You know what?
With Mia Farrow being in it, she hasn't been in a thriller like that since Rosemary's Baby. That's exciting.
Yeah, no,
I just watched Rosemary's Baby again, and it is not disappointing. I cannot.
No, isn't it amazing?
Every single time it comes on, I have to watch it.
Me too. Me too. And that one scene where the guy, the next door neighbor is explaining the plan to Mia Farrow's husband, and the way it's done, where he's just staring at him and the smoke is coming up. I could watch that scene 100 times. That expression that he makes, it's so unbelievable.
The husband, I think they talked about like they were going to cast someone else, but he was just too creepy, and he works.
Was that John Cassavetes?
Yes. Yeah, that he just worked as the character and you just look at him, he's such a creep.
He's so creepy. He doesn't
have to do much.
I like that one of the doctors is one of the guys from Planet of the Apes.
Oh yes, that's
right. Dr. Zaius, I think, isn't it?
The one with the Tannis root, is that what it was?
Yeah. But of course, my favorite, I'm the last person that does a Ruth Gordon imitation. So, hey, you just swallow it. You have a good, don't worry about it. It's going to be fine. Oh God, she was babysitting for us. I don't know what happened.
She really brought like the best levity.
I think
to
she
it.
won an Oscar for it.
Did she?
I think she
I think
won.
she did. Yeah.
Yeah.
She was great.
Oh my
Also
God, she was good in everything. I just saw Harold and Maude the other day, and that's a creepy as hell movie. And she is just so talented. Even that taxi episode she's on is unbelievable. She won an Emmy for that.
She was great.
Yeah, she really was something else. Really interesting old lady who probably was the same as that guy Harry, the Colonel Potter in MASH, who was probably only like 30 when he did that show, but he looked like he was always 80.
I just love the last scene when she's reprimanding the woman who doesn't want Rosemary to shake
Isn't
the
that
baby.
awesome?
She's like,
Yeah.
she's gonna hurt the baby, and then she gives her that woman gives her a
look. There's the thing. It's funny. That movie there's funny parts, like when they're creeping in the house with their
that was like funny. It's
tiptoeing.
like supposed to be scary, but you see them like walking by.
It's so funny. I mean,
I love that. The Scream series from like the 90s is also very much like that. Like it's actually very scary, but it's also extremely campy, and like really like fun joke. Like, I think that makes like horror movie, like having those moments of lightness that like are genuinely like really good, make horror movies so interesting.
As a comedian, to be honest, it's the only time that I actually like comedy outside of me doing it is in I'm serious is in horror. That's the only time I can enjoy comedy because I do it as a living. So like for me, I can't. It's hard for me to watch stand up. You know, unless someone tells me you got to watch this, and even then, I can only watch so much because I don't want to like get anything that they're doing and accidentally steal it. Which I've seen recently someone steal from my special. I saw someone. I woke up this morning. And, you know, you're on Instagram. I won't say who it is. And I was like, wow. It's on HBO right now. It's a comedy special on HBO. I won't say who it is.
Knew it.
But they talk about Strong Black Woman, which was a premise that I did about when Single Black Female came out. And I was like, that's my bit. I was like, I don't know. It was kind of done in hysterical. It was used as an ad. Strong black woman. I don't want to be a strong black woman. And then all of a sudden I see someone else doing it. And I'm like, yeah, do your research. Like it's not exact word for word, but the premise is the same. And I was just like, I get so annoyed because I'm like, you know, it takes a lot to come up with even a premise. You can steal a premise, by the way.
Yeah.
And a lot of comics don't know that. Like, when you start a premise that's similar to someone else, that means you probably saw it and thought, oh, I'm going to do something different with it. That's thief. That's thievery.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
I do that all the time. I mean,
you're a
that's
thief.
horrible. Yeah, I'm a thief. Yeah, my
Well, I always remember Dave Attell saying, write faster than they can steal.
Well, he's the king of that. But again, I don't think anybody's going to steal my Ruth Gordon imitation. I think I'm okay with that. And
no one's going to do your impersonation.
Well, that was the thing. You know, when I first started comedy and I was doing impersonations, I'm like, well, I'm going to do impersonations that nobody's doing because everybody's doing Jack Nicholson and Sylvester Stallone. So I do James Spader and Ruth Gordon, you know, and I'm like, and I dare somebody to take those. You know?
Your intellectual property.
I don't know how far it got me in comedy.
Do you have student loans, Juskow? We were talking about that before you joined. You don't have any student loans?
Well, not anymore. I'm almost 80.
Well, that was the problem. There were people dying with student loans, and they were like, why are we doing this to people? Oh, there was a woman who was 80 years old who had like over 100,000 in student loans.
Oh, really? Well,
yes.
If I did have student loans, it certainly wouldn't be that much. And I don't understand how somebody could be 80 could have that much in student loans because college didn't cost that much back then when she was going to school.
It accrues the interest.
Yeah, the interest.
Oh, she just let it go and never paid any of it. I see.
The interest it grows, yes. And on loans, it grows a lot.
I got lucky, I guess. I didn't have to pay for anything. My parents paid, so. What are you going to do? I didn't, I wouldn't have paid if they told me I had to pay it back. And I'm like, I'm not going to pay it back. They're going to ruin your credit. I'm like, who gives a shit? And look at me now. My credit's completely ruined and I didn't pay anything.
Is it?
Oh, totally. But for the past like 30 years.
What's your number? What's your score? Are you scared to tell?
I I don't know what it is, but I'm sure it's really low.
You don't know your score?
No, I never check. I barely check my bank account. I get terrified.
I check every day.
I heck. Well, of course you do. You're obsessed with that. No, I barely go in until I have to pay a bill. I don't want to know what I have in there. I mean, it's the reason I get very depressed. Like Thursday, I know I needed to pay bills. I'm like, I can't do it. I can't do it today. I don't want to know what I have in there. I don't want to know what I have in there. And then it's a horrible way to live.
It is.
Evelyn, hopefully this won't happen to you. Your writing better pay off quick.
I'm very fortunate. My parents also paid for my education. So,
Jenny, you paid your loan off before the Obama did loan forgiveness. Oh,
a lot of people did that. That's why they're getting upset.
That's why they're also saying during this time, they say you could still pay while there's this pause in paying because of the COVID.
Yeah.
But this is what most experts say, don't do that because of this loan forgiveness, of the amount of money that you may not have. So you end up paying for something you didn't have to pay for. So
yeah, I know right now there's like something where like if people have been paying the last few months, they like get it back, I think. So I've seen people who like have been consistently paying their loans over the last few months get like however, $1,000 check back from the government. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure how that works, but I've heard of a few people like that happening to them. But yeah, I mean, if I were in that position, I know my girlfriend, she hasn't been paying because she hasn't had to.
Yeah, no, don't pay. Don't pay if you ain't got to.
Yeah.
Heck Tech. I paid off my student loan over 20 years ago. Had I not paid it off then, I'd probably still be paying interest. That's right. Yeah. Now, there is a penniless baroness that is sitting in a hospital bed in New York City. Do you guys know? I always look at Newser. They have the great stories that you're just like, what? Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and I hear these stories like an alligator. Like there was a story about wrestlers fighting a bear this week. Bears are everywhere, by the way. And you got to be careful. You see, I didn't have much to say. I wanted to get back to the Baroness. But this Baroness says she spent decades working to be invisible to avoid ties to institutions, public or private. And now it's catching up to her. George Rush and John Leland write this in the New York Times. An 80-year-old German Baroness whose stepfather gave her that title and life of wealth, but suffered an apparent stroke. Now they give her room number at the hospital.
That's not good.
Room 23, just in case you want to send flowers.
Which hospital is it?
Mount Sinai West.
All right, I'll check it out.
In New York City. She has a $600,000 hospital bill and no social security number, no insurance, no identified source of income, no immediate relatives. She can't be moved until a nursing home or rehab facility agrees to take her, but she has no known money, Medicaid to facilitate. So that's crazy.
That's wild. I mean, like I do like I think everyone should get the health care that they need and they require. But it's
no Nazi ties, by the way, just so you know.
Oh, important. But it's wild to me that like this person who I'm assuming is white is just getting this free care while so many people are not.
That's true.
Like that, like we're being turned away because they don't have insurance. They don't have, the money to pay for really, really expensive procedures, medications, whatever. Wow. That's wild.
Yeah, you're right. That's such a good point. I didn't even think about that. I was just like, why she broke? Why she ain't got no money? I'm telling you something, getting old is scary. Like I've been really nice to my nieces, except for when they're being teenagers. Because I just want them to come visit their auntie when she gets older.
Hey, I was looking up the origins of that song, Everything She Wants.
Are you on the same topic? If you're not on the same topic, we're not gonna. No, you're not gonna do that. Nope. Is this the same topic?
I feel like it's all combined.
Well, so what song?
The one we were talking about, and how you say it's a dick. You're right.
Oh, let's hear it.
He says it's a lyric about a man who is 6 or 8 months into a marriage, which obviously isn't going well. He's faced
Yes.
with the happy news of an arriving baby. So he's in that situation where he can't back out. The
He
song
goes,
talks
and
about
I
the
don't
situation
even, and
in
I
which many
don't
men
even
find
think.
themselves.
Look, listen, Juskow. He goes, I don't even think that I love you.
Yeah. He says it's not the kind of thing I usually write about. Usually, I do lightweight stuff, but it's a departure, and I think it worked.
Ginny is agreeing with you, Evelyn. Lucky privilege.
I can't get the song out of my head. That's why. Sorry.
No, that's okay.
Really
It's
sorry.
just that some people are just joining us, so they may not know what you're talking about.
Oh,
We're
I
talking about the
apologize.
George Michael song.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was the part when he passed, and I was on the dance floor, and I was dancing to it, and I was like, wait a minute, hold up, you don't love me. Why are we singing this?
But isn't that an interesting song? I mean, there's so many songs about
It's
love.
it just feels like it's so the it's a
Right, you shouldn't be
cheerful
dancing to it,
song.
right? Because that's the
Right.
problem is the beat is so good, but and it's so rare when I listen to the lyrics. I'm always a melody first. So yeah, now that you mention it, I'm like, boy, this guy's a dick in this song. But
And I
doesn't that
don't
make it
even
interesting?
think that I love
Love you.
you. Woo!
Somebody tell me.
It's the same
Won't
with
you tell me?
the police
'Cause I
song,
work
like,
so
I'll be
hard.
watching you, like, those lyrics, like,
Yeah,
I
that's a
like, even,
stalking.
like yeah, and, like, even, like, Sting was like, "Why," like, "No one is questioning that these lyrics are about stalking, like, can
Oh,
we
you're
at least
talking
be"
about Every Breath You Take, or every
Mhm, yeah, like, Sting was like, "What the hell? Like, why is nobody, like, questioning
and it was
this?"
like the biggest song in 1983. Like it beat
Yeah.
out Michael Jackson Thriller shit. And
Yeah,
you're right.
yeah.
It's a creepy
It's
song.
creepy.
Yeah.
Now back to the topic, and I like this. Marcy says, my 93-year-old, is it your grandpa lives with me and is mostly immobile. He's not eligible for Medicaid and does not have the money to pay for a nursing home. Something's not right about that either. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. I guess that's why, save money.
Yeah, I mean
Save money and invest in your retirement,
Oh, I don't mind telling you,
because
things aren't gonna work out well for me in the end.
we'll just shove you in that game, and we'll put you in front of that game and feed you oatmeal.
What game?
Your video games.
Oh,
That's what we'll do. Just shove them in the corner and give them Jello. There was another story. Yeah. The Bears. Yeah, the Bears are just like
the
they
Chicago Bears?
no actual annoying. They dragged
Hope
a
so, Marcy, but I don't
14-year-old
think so.
child into the woods.
Oh
I
my
think
god.
in
It happens.
Connecticut.
There's a lot of
Jesus.
bears around. In Jersey too.
Wait,
It's
is it more?
scary.
The question is, what's worse, the brown bear or the black bear?
They're both, apparently, if you do the wrong thing.
Well, yeah, I
Well,
mean,
they don't
also if, like,
know.
their cubs are around, they will get nasty. Yeah, no, bears
Yeah,
scare me.
this
I
is
mean,
the story.
I when I was at my sister's house, I guess for the Jewish holidays, she told me to take out the garbage, and I went to the garbage, and it was in the dark, and I went to the garbage, and I was afraid that there might be a bear there because there's so many deer that
Mm.
I guess they hang around Jersey and Connecticut, and I was afraid there'd just be a bear just hanging around in the garbage, and I got a little scared. They certainly
Yeah.
weren't around when I was young.
College wrestler tries to pull grizzly off teammate and gets attacked. Then he had bear spray too.
You got to pull that Bugs Bunny thing where he just lies still.
Yeah, humans are worse. I'm with you, Hectech. I never understand why they kill the animal for being an animal.
Well, if you
Yeah,
attack a
I don't
human,
I
that's
think
what it.
it's,
A
I don't know,
bear,
yeah.
I get, but not a
If a dog
alligator.
bites a human, it's over for them. They know
Well,
better.
they get the taste of that means that like bears, I get, because once they attack a human and they want to eat a human, they get the taste for it,
Yeah.
right? But like an alligator, no. Alligator's just being an alligator. Like, why
Yeah.
are you gonna go search an alligator? That the alligator's just being an alligator.
Well, isn't a bear just being a bear?
No, because the bear, after it gets the taste of humans, then is going to start wanting more humans.
I feel like a bear just eats everything, and it doesn't. Maybe I see what you're saying.
Yeah, no, there was that show about that guy who died at the end of it. That documentary about that guy with the. So there's
Oh
certain
yeah, that was
bears.
awful.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
that was
crocodile.
horrible. No.
The Australian guy.
The
Oh,
Bear Man. It's a
Oh.
Yeah.
Werner Herzog
Grizzly
documentary.
Adams.
No.
What happened to that guy?
Boo. There's no boo on here. Is there
You
a
don't
boo
like
button?
references from the 70s?
No,
None?
it's just that was a documentary that really showed that once a bear has a taste for people, you
Oh, I
have to
see.
put them out. You have to.
Oh, I thought that was something you just came up with. You saw that was like a
no,
real
it's
thing.
very factual.
So the bear's like a vampire or something.
So yeah, sort of. Yeah, sure.
Once
You
it has
know.
the taste of human
Jenny says
flesh.
I am low key terrified of bears. I respect them as I do all wildlife. Makes me anxious when hike. Yeah, I don't
think
hike.
But they don't. I never hear about bears in San
Hi,
Francisco
Victor.
or anything. I guess.
Victor Vernado, what up?
Hey, Victor.
What up, bitch?
Well, in like California, that area, they're mountain lions.
Yeah,
So
right.
like
I guess there
equally.
was. I guess I just figure in the
intense.
cities they're not that there, but
Yeah.
yeah. Like
No,
in the
yeah.
mountain.
When I was in Vermont this summer, the like lodge that I was staying at, they had put out like a bear sighting warning, and it made me so like we did go hiking a few days, but it made me like so nervous because it was like, oh my god, like we're just gonna walk on a trail and a bear will show up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know
in
how I'd
Vermont,
react.
definitely. Actually, at the house that I stayed at, just that week, they had a bear on their porch
Oh.
because they had honey nut oats or whatever, those little bars, and
Yeah,
they
if you leave
forgot.
food out.
And the bear took the granola bars or whatever and then went and hid behind the shed and just ate all.
That's
Which is so
funny.
cute. Like,
That
I
is really
want to
cute.
see that. So they have on their camera. So they have a
Mhm.
camera set up so they can see because they have
Oh, it's fun.
pets. They have cats and dogs and stuff. So you can't
I
you can't
know, but
actually let your dog roam free.
No.
no, yeah, there's yeah, this drag queen that I like, Trixie Mattel, who's like very, very popular. She grew up in like
Oh, I know Trixie.
yeah, you did a show with her, I think
Mhm.
once. She grew up in like the really rural Wisconsin. And she had a dog growing up, and she tells the story of how once she got a phone call from her neighbor. The dog was named Checkers, and she was like, "Yeah, like there's a bear out here. Checkers is just getting it," which is sad but kind of funny.
Oh.
But yeah, the dog was eaten by a bear.
Was
Pretty
eaten
sad.
by the
Yeah, the
no.
neighbor was just like this, like Wisconsin was like, "Yeah, Checkers is just getting it."
Oh, yeah, I get so sad about stuff like that. I'm like, oh my god,
I know, just protect
Victor,
them.
not too many bear stories, okay.
Yeah.
But I will say, like, it's just there's. I don't know if you guys know this, but turkeys this Thanksgiving is going to be like really expensive
I heard that.
because
Saw that.
bird flu. It's what y'all get for not being vegans.
No, that's fair. I mean, I don't know. For Thanksgiving, I love, the turkey, but the sides really make it for me. So like if there
Yes.
like isn't turkey, like I'm not gonna be like hugely
Didn't I
sad about
didn't
it.
I show you guys last year that I showed you a picture of my brother-in-law made 5 different kinds of stuffing or 6?
I think you did show us
It was
that.
so
Yeah.
awesome, but so filling.
It's
Yeah.
such a great cartoon to make of a turkey celebrating the fact that there's inflation affecting people buying turkeys.
I'm sure.
Don't you think that would be like a good story? Like turkeys being like, yeah, yeah.
I'm sure there will be like a New Yorker cartoon about that at some point.
It's like, this is a good year for us.
Yeah. I can't believe it's coming up so quickly. It still feels
always
like close to summer to me.
I was just talking about that. Every year, Labor Day, I'm like, oh my God, it'll be Thanksgiving before you know it. It happens so quick. This time of the year goes so fast. It's the best time of the year. It's usually really nice weather and it's kind of fun.
Someone was
It's
saying
been
last night they got
gorgeous.
depressed. They get depressed around this time. I was like, this is the part I love.
Yeah. No, after January, that's when it goes down. Everything. You don't think when I guess in a couple of weeks it's going to get dark really early, which is like the worst.
That's
I mean,
the
really
It
getting
is,
dark at
yeah.
4:30 is just sick, and it's
Yeah.
just so depressing,
we
especially if
really
you work,
noticed it during COVID quarantine.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then, especially if you work in an office. If you work in an office from 9 to 5, you're just not seeing daylight until the weekends.
Yeah.
So it gets but they're going to change all that next year, I believe. I mean,
Oh yeah, they're voting to like not.
I
yeah,
hope
they're not
so.
going to, because it's really depressing.
It's depressing and people are mentally ill.
Yeah.
Your guy
Yeah.
was at the farmer's market today, by the way,
Oh, he
Juskow,
was?
your happy guy. He hasn't been there for a while, and he looked like he was like, things have changed around here. He had a look on his face.
That's
I
so
was like, oh my God. He was like, I was like, look, hey, look at you back.
funny.
So I am oh yes, Jenny, yes, it is the best time of the year. Yeah, Victor, let's do a cartoon on it, I guess. I don't
Oh.
know. I don't know. So many ideas, so little time.
Did you see the
Yeah.
cartoons, the New Yorker cartoons about the Comedy Cellar 2 weeks ago?
No. Tell us.
I mean, Outside Steve was in one. It's amazing. But there was a bunch of them. Things heard at like the comedy. They had a series of some guy came down and did it. You can see him.
Tell us about it.
I don't know. I just know about the Steve one, which was really great. I mean, it was exciting that he's immortalizing cartoon. I know you don't.
What?
care that
No,
much,
I
but-
don't mind. I don't. Whatever. So is it like capturing the Comedy Cellar, the staff, or
The gag is things heard at the Comedy Cellar,
things
and
heard?
the one with Steve just goes, "Is this the Comedy Cellar?" And he's outside with his clipboard, and there's a huge sign that says the Comedy Cellar. So it's gag,
Oh,
little
yes.
gags like that. They're not. It's not
Oh,
great,
I-
but it's
That's cute.
mhm. They need to do one where they have the white customer asking me for napkins
Oh yeah. Oh my god.
before I go on stage. That's what they need to do. They need to ask me because
That'd be a good
I
one.
have literally a microphone in my hand
oh God,
now. So it's like I carry a microphone.
Miss, can you?
And if you don't answer, they tap you, miss.
Oh
Like
my
they can't
God.
accept the fact
I prefer the snapping of the fingers.
that someone's not going to help them.
That's so
They
weird.
because they are like in service motors. See, this is the thing in this day and age with silent quitting. That's what they call it, right?
Yeah, that's what they
You
call it.
have a lot of people who aren't good at their job, so customers got to understand you ain't gonna get what you want.
Yeah. You need to readjust your expectations.
I have readjusted my expectations in every way because I know that the people who are being employed, the
Yeah.
employer has no choice right now. They're
Hey,
at the
check out
mercy.
Mr.
Mr.
2:38 a.m. in Thailand, and he's joining us today.
Wow,
Imagine,
that's
that's so cool.
impressive.
That's dedication.
Mr.
That is dedication.
Is Thailand the one that we're protecting if they go in on?
Yes, I believe so. Taiwan. No, Taiwan.
It's Taiwan. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, is that different?
I think it. Yeah. Listen, I'm just as bad as you are with that.
Yeah.
so
Taiwan is
I'm
off
gonna
of
say it's
mainland
different.
China, and like is kind of a separate country, and mainland China is saying that it's part of China.
Oh. I'm the worst. I am so bad.
No, it's okay.
Well, what up? That's good for you, Mister. Why are you
what's
in
the one from the
Thailand?
movie The Beach? Thailand or Taiwan? That's Thailand.
I've never seen that movie.
Oh my God, it's so good with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Ooh, okay.
What? The Lord of the Flies?
No, The Beach.
I'm just being.
It is like The Lord of the Flies. I mean, it's the exact same premise.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah.
It absolutely is. They did steal. You know what someone said to me last night? I swear to God, my little niece. It's her birthday. It was her birthday yesterday. She's 5.
It's her birthday every day. I thought this is the one that.
Yes, that's why
Yeah.
it's a big deal that it was. And here's the
Actually.
funny
actual
thing.
Birthday. Oh.
It's her birthday every day, but yesterday she was a little sick because all the kids are coming down with stuff because they've been inside. She's not that bad, but I go, "How old?" She goes, "I'm 5." I go, "Well, what do you want? I'm gonna give you some books." And she goes, "No." I go, books are very good. She goes, no. She gives it a thumbs
She's
down.
right about that.
I repeat it at the cellar, and someone said to me this, and it's still playing back to me. I was like, yeah, my niece doesn't want books, and I'm trying to get her to identify as a reader. And someone, I won't say their name, but they looked at me, they go, do you read?
What?
It was the weirdest question.
Why is that a weird question? I could see somebody
Because
asking that.
Everyone should read.
Yeah, but a
Well,
lot of
who
people
doesn't
don't.
read?
And so if you're complaining about books, I would have asked that question. I could see, do you read? I mean,
It's a weird way of asking it. It sounds like they don't read.
I get that question
Yeah.
all the time, so it's not that big a deal.
Oh, well, you should get that question.
Yeah.
Because you don't look like you and Keith Robinson don't look like you've ever sat still for a book and just read it.
No,
ever.
I'm trying, and the worst part, like I told you, I'm just trying to get through that book Emma, that Jane Austen one. And
You're reading Emma?
Yes, and
Oh, because you're teaching Clueless,
yes,
right?
and I'm in the middle, and it is so difficult. It's just so wordy. I'm really having a lot of trouble with it and trying to read more.
It's like when, I mean, when it's in a different
don't,
style
DJ,
of
I
English
should.
wlike that, it definitely
Yeah,
is
it's
hard
really
to like.
difficult.
You have to kind of like switch your brain into this like different mode.
They just keep
Audiobooks
going.
are really are helpful for that though.
I never
really
try.
think.
I don't like, I never have time to listen. I mean, I guess when I'm walking, I usually just listen to podcasts. I guess I could listen to audiobooks.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Even when you're just doing like mundane tasks, they're really nice.
Were you yawning, or did you have something to say?
Heck tech, be
Okay.
nice. I mean, Robin, not heck tech. Robin, be nice. Sometimes we're illiterate, but we read.
Our education system over here is not amazing.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah. I wish I did read. When I watch movies or TV where people read, I'm like, oh, I wish I was a better reader. My sister is a really good reader. My mother's a really good reader. These people, they like books. My sister goes to the library and, they read all the time. But there is something extremely interesting about people that still read in this day and age where it's just totally a lost profession, it seems.
What were you going to say, Evelyn?
I was just going to say that, like, I do hate, though, when people who do read a lot kind of, like, look down on people who are more interested in watching movies or television. Because I do think it's a different form of media, but it's still a narrative. It's still
reading is you could look down on people if you read. I think it's the coolest. It really is an intellectual form of getting information. I just wish I was better at it.
There is nothing better than the book. A lot of times you'll see a movie and it never is as good as the book.
Do you know
nothing
that
is never as good as what goes on in this head.
Do you know that The Godfather is like one of the worst books? There's like 10 chapters just of James Caan's penis and how big it is.
Oh my God.
And then the girl that he's
Are you serious?
And his mistress's vagina. I'm telling you, there's like 5 chapters about how big
I mean, certain books are like not like I was actually just
kidding.
talking
Weird.
to my girlfriend the other day, who my girlfriend's brother really likes to read like older European books.
Sorry.
And he was reading, it was a while ago, he was reading The Hunchback of Notre Dame, and like there are multiple books of it, and like the second book is just about Gothic architecture. Like
my sister just told me that an hour ago. She said it's only about the architecture. In France or wherever it takes place.
It's in France.
She told me that exact same thing an hour ago.
That's
funny. So use that exact book as the example.
Yeah, well, because it's just like it's not about in the same way. I mean, I do really like the book Moby Dick, but like a lot of it's just about whaling.
Yeah, but I'm thinking about those times back then, which is why this Jane Austen thing. I'm like, no one had anything else to do, so why not? You're not going to see France in your lifetime if you're getting that book in America, maybe back then when it was written. So why not describe it? Because the James Bond book, I'm reading, You Only Live Twice. They have 6 chapters on Japan and the customs. And then it's like because nobody had been in Japan in the 50s or 60s, it wasn't. It wasn't like today where stuff.
Right.
So I guess that's why the Godfather one. If you're describing somebody's vagina and the surgery they're getting on the vagina, and it's a minor character, I'll never understand. But this other stuff makes sense.
Yeah.
If you're writing it from years ago.
Subjects for a second. I guess only because I want to talk about this. Have you ever gotten to a cleaning like this morning? I know I'm really switching the subject. This morning I cleaned out my refrigerator.
Nice.
That's a big deal.
It is a big deal. I always forget to clean out my fridge. I actually just did it a few weeks ago or like last week, because we have a visitor, right? No, my girlfriend's mom is visiting, and we didn't want to have a gross
Yeah. You seen
refrigerator.
anybody?
you'll lose weight if you clean out your refrigerator, right?
No.
As I was cleaning out my refrigerator, I was thinking about Juskow's refrigerator.
Well, my cleaning lady just cleaned it out yesterday. It's beautiful.
Oh, she does it?
She cleans your refrigerator?
Yeah.
I've never
You have a cleaning lady and you broke?
I've told you before, the motto in the Juskow household, no matter how broke we are, no matter what kind of pandemic we are in, no matter how much money we are not making, in the Juskow motto, there is always money for a cleaning lady and plastic surgery. Everyone knows that.
Oh my.
My mother, in the 90s when I had no money, still have been somehow getting by all these years. She called my manager. My manager goes, which was Caroline's, and they go, Mrs. Juskow, he just lives beyond his means. He just keeps spending all this money and stuff. And she's like, I know. I keep telling him. And then he's like, and he has a cleaning lady. She goes, oh, well, no, he has to have the cleaning lady.
Well, Mike wants to know what I found. Let me tell you what I found. That's a good question. I found so many sauces, like just little containers of like ketchup and mayonnaise
From
and
outside,
mustard. And because I'm a vegan, sort of, there's so many like vegans, like we live off of like those vegan sauces, because everything you need like things to make things taste better.
Right.
So like is so many little containers of sauces, and like I had like salsa that was organic, that was made like from farm to the people, whatever. 2 of them that I haven't had since, it's been at least since 2020, and it was in there from 2020, and I was like, I wonder if it's still good. That's what I know I have a problem when I looked at that, and I said, maybe I shouldn't throw it. I was like, Marina, throw it out.
That's important. My girlfriend is very much like when an expiration date is passed on something, like it needs to go in the trash immediately. I'm a little like, if it's a few days, I'm a little bit more lenient. But no, that definitely helps with throwing things out, because my inclination is always to keep it. She's like, nope, it's going in the trash.
It's hard to throw stuff out. Isn't that weird that we always think, I guess it's because I didn't think, Marina, you were like this, but you always think like, no, I'm probably going to use it soon.
No, I am like that.
But the fact of the matter is, even if you got food that you would use that sauce is, when you're about to use it, you're like, how long has this been in here?
Right.
You're still never going to, that's the mindset you need to get in when you're throwing stuff out. Wait a minute, who am I kidding? If it actually comes to using this, I'm not going to use it.
Yeah, right. I don't understand, like the barbecue sauce that I had, it spilt over. Like that's the thing, like I don't understand. Like that's what happens to me when I start cleaning. I'm like, why would you leave this like this? There was the barbecue sauce had spilt over, and then all of the sugar from the barbecue sauce and the liquid had spilled into the bottom part of the
Oh no.
Sounds amazing.
And I was like, what would make you not clean this? Like, why would you leave this? Like, I was talking to myself. I was like, Marina, what is wrong with you? Like, get your life together.
No, we
get
all
your
do
life
that,
together.
Everybody does.
I think it's because it's behind a closed door.
Yeah.
You can just close the door and forget about it.
But you know what the issue is there's always that one time when whatever delivery you ordered didn't bring your sauces, and you're just fuck, and that's why you keep the stuff. That's why one day that comes where they just mess up, and you're like, I've had those sauces for years.
Yeah, you're right. That one time they come and they don't, and you're like, I see, I shouldn't have thrown it out.
I mean, how many people have Chinese duck sauce packets in their, fork drawers, their silverware drawers that have been there for decades or years? And you're like, even if your egg roll comes and they didn't bring the sauce, you're not going to use that one you're going to rethink. Right. And I'm like, but when you're looking at it, you're like, I better leave it just in case. It's weird mindset.
There was a story recently about someone getting killed because they didn't give like the sauce.
Oh, you can get that angry. I've gotten that angry where I would go after the guy,
or where you would murder someone.
maybe you get that angry, it ruins your day.
It
I
does.
mean,
It
that is the
ruins your
beauty
meal.
about Seamless and Grubhub that changed my life around, because you get that angry. You just order this thing, you've been looking forward to it, and sauce is half of it. But then with Seamless, the best part that I found was like, you want to yell at if you call a Chinese place, they're not going to care. They're going to pretend they don't speak any English, and then they're just going to really give it to you. I know that sounds awful, but that's what they do when they're in a controversy, right? So the best is Seamless will be like, I'm so sorry that happened to you. We'll call them and retrain them. And I'm like, okay. like that's all you want to hear is somebody to say, we're sorry.
That's
And
it.
the restaurants never give you the I'm sorry. Maybe they do, but they don't mean it. They don't mean it.
And I follow up.
Yes, I do.
Like this week with the Spectrum guy and the cable and all that, I was so pissed. I was trying to watch The View and it was breaking up. And I was like, why is my cable breaking up? This is on. And then I thought, like, now I'm going to have to call Spectrum. That's going to be that takes your whole day away.
Yeah.
When you have to follow up on a food order or any type of complaint, that's like work you got to put in.
And the food offer is even the worst, because then your food's getting cold, and by the time you finish it, you don't want to make the call anymore. So it's like double jeopardy in that sense.
Right.
Yeah, it was extra duck sauce in Queens. That's right. That's right. I remember that story. The guy got really fucking angry and he killed the delivery guy.
Oh my God.
It was in
That's
Queens.
Insanity.
It was just like a month ago. Tops.
Yeah. I mean,
now
that's
that I thinking about it, it was duck sauce. Sauce. I would get that angry. I just bought duck sauce from the store,
but
not a jar of it, so it doesn't happen anymore.
Duck sauce
duck sauce and taco sauce in the store in case Taco Bell doesn't deliver the sauces that I requested. So now I have everything I need, so I will not kill anybody.
It's horrible. I'll tell you what I don't do anymore.
Angry.
I don't open the door when the delivery. I go, thank you very much.
You let them put it.
Thank you.
Leave it out.
Have a great day. Thank you. Leave it there. Thank you. Bye.
I wouldn't even want to talk to them. I would just tell them to leave it outside. The
That's
Chinese
what I'm
guys
saying.
leave it on the doorknob. They don't even stick around.
They leave it on the doorknob. I say, just thank you.
Isn't that the best? Isn't Seamless and Grubhub the greatest thing that's ever happened, that you don't have to deal with giving money at the door anymore? Everything's taken care of. It's a dream, especially for people that get high.
You're right, Mike. It probably wasn't. It's not the delivery guy's fault.
Of course,
the sauce is not in the bag.
No, it's usually not the delivery guy's fault, but that's what you're not thinking straight when you have a vision in your head of how delicious everything's going to be, and there's one flaw to the plan. And that's the beauty again about Seamless. You call up the restaurants, especially the ones that don't speak English, no matter what it is, and then you have a documented evidence. This is what I ordered. It's clearly here. You can't tell me I didn't order it.
And also on Seamless, you can complain. On Uber Eats, if something goes wrong, there's no follow-up.
Yeah.
There's no way to get your money back. I was like, oh, wait a minute.
Now Seamless just gives it back instantly. You just press the button. What didn't come, they put it right. You don't even have to talk to anybody. It's
really?
Yeah, they don't even
on Seamless?
Yeah. I was surprised every time you could just say I didn't get everything. I mean, it's hard. I never do that, but you could if you're an asshole and you want to ruin it for everybody else, and that's going to happen.
Well, thanks for putting it out there for the 200 people who watch.
It's out there anyway. It's not me. Oh, I ordered Chipotle, and they forgot the corn, lettuce, and tomato. Right? I mean, that's the whole thing about Chipotle, that you put in all the ingredients. That sucks. You can't order from Chipotle. That's not a good delivery place. You got to go there. I think I love Chipotle, but I will never get it delivered from them. It's also too expensive.
Listen, is that a bougie first world? This is a New York problem. This is what we do in New York. This is a very New York thing, Heck Tech.
Yeah,
wait, Heck Tech, aren't you from the Bronx?
Yeah, we get delivery. Yes. Remember, Marina, do you remember growing up, like all they did was deliver pizza? That's all you could get delivered. And then you come to New York and you get everything delivered. It's like, and now it's even better. But it was only pizza. Chinese didn't deliver. Nobody else delivered. Italian, just pizza. And you could get maybe a lasagna. That's about it.
Heck Tech, then you get some deliveries. Come on, that ain't bougie. Get down with it.
And the funny thing is, when Seamless first started, I would stop ordering from them because they just could not understand the technology of how the computer worked. The Italian people were so stupid. They could not get it together. Every time there was a problem. Now they got it figured out. But I swear, when it first started, I just stopped ordering from all the places. I tried every place. They just were like, wait, you sent Oh, we didn't get that. What is that? It come on a piece of paper? Oh.
It is time for us to get our reviews of the Friends Like Us podcast. Evelyn, take us there.
Yeah, so we have
was good.
we
I'm
have
gonna
two
do that
really
every week.
great reviews coming from Twitter. But this is also just a reminder, please leave Friends Like Us a review on Apple Podcasts. Give us 5 stars. If it's on Apple Podcasts, it helps other people who wouldn't normally listen to the podcast find the podcast. So this first review comes from a friend of the podcast, Paul Francis Sullivan, Sully, who says, Marina Franklin has been podcasting for almost a decade, and somehow her funny and thought-provoking show never dips in quality. The new episode, Advocating for Your Wealth and Health, features Shauna Lane and Vision Avant. So that was lovely. And then this review, also from Twitter, comes from Devin Nixon, who retweeted it's about the same episode, who said, it's the intersectionality for me. I'm a Black woman before I'm a nurse practitioner. Ms. Franklin helps me grow in both.
Wow.
So I thought that was really lovely.
That was. You know what that reminds me of this week? I practiced my speech. You know, I have a speaker engagement, and I did a Hot Tim's show. It's called the Comedy Seller Talks.
Oh, sure.
And I went up and I did 20 minutes of it. And I'm not bragging, but I blew those people away. I had several
Nice.
people who were like, whoa. And it was like something about the freedom to speak and then do comedy and know that I didn't have to be funny every second. Made it was about feminism. And I didn't know that I was going to touch on so many points that were going to affect the women in the crowd. I've never seen someone do this while I was on stage before. They were like,
oh, that's
and
great.
I was like, you know what? I think I may have touched on something, and I think I may want to continue doing speaker engagements.
That's great.
It was fulfilling.
That's awesome.
It felt, I know that sounds corny, but it was very fulfilling. And it was like, here's the thing, like the first comic went up and was being, speaker engagements. Okay, with the comic, you have to be serious.
Yeah.
Right? You could do a little joke here and there, but you got to really be serious. And some audience member didn't know that's what it was about. And they kept going, woo! And I got so mad. They were from Canada, right? And the comedian was from Canada. When I got on stage, I said, listen, okay, it ain't going to be all funny. And I ain't from Canada. So you ain't going to do that shit to me. Just so you know. Just so you know, I ain't from Canada. I will run across these tables and I will get your ass. Okay. And when I say
that's funny.
Because sometimes you have to let an audience know what it really is. Because they're like children. You gotta really navigate the ship so that they know how to behave. Because it wasn't actually their fault. No one told them what it was about to be about. And for comedians, in order to stick in the lane of not being funny, you've got to create an environment that is safe for them, or else they will only be funny and they'll abandon ship on the agenda at hand. Anyway, I said, I ain't from Canada and I'll whoop your ass. I got a really nice jab.
That's great.
I was at the Seller Talks and Marina's nuts. I just saw that.
I was hoping
you just cute. I was like, I thought you were doing work.
No, and then I feel like I bought in some spam. I don't know what happened. What's that Tinder about?
You brought in spam?
I don't think I did. It just happened to come when I tweeted, so I don't know.
Why did you? What is
I did. I did. I was just tweeting from my phone like everybody else.
That's what you get. I hope you get a big cock in your email. Big juicy black cock just staring at you with Juskow's name on it. Anyway, we do have to get out. I wanted to show you one of my sauces that I'm actually going to use up today. Look, Juskow.
Saucy? Is that cheese?
No, it's for my vegan meal that I got.
Oh, what is it? Let me see the cover. Or is it already opened? Oh, what is it? It's not cheese?
It's like a kind of like a mayonnaise. I don't know. It's kind of like a thing. It's good. I don't know. It's vegan.
Nice.
So you still claim that this is a let's see, what is Robin? So you have a great podcast that I presume hundreds of thousands of people listen, and you have this YouTube chat supposedly. Yes, but only 50 of us turn up every week. No, there's more. Actually, 200 eventually watch on YouTube. So do you still claim that this is a pub? No. Actually, week to week, we've been emphasizing that this is to promote the podcast, and this is what we do. Actually, you are reminding me. Thank you, my friend Robin. You are on us today. What's going on? Have you taken your vitamins today? What's up? So this is what's going on. Like, this is just to have fun, but it really is to promote the podcast. And because I have so many subscribers on my YouTube channel, it's really nice to keep it going and give people what they want.
Yeah.
Now, I will say this. The recent episode, the current episode of Friends Like Us, it's links. I put the links in the chat. It's very good. We have a young lady who's on there. She's an entrepreneur who talks about how to sell books without going to, like we were saying, like, why give it away to a manager? Why give it away to someone else? How to sell your own book and make $10,000 a month on your own, you know?
I mean, it is easy to do that these days, but if she has a secret, that's good, because a lot of people self-publish, and if she knows a secret around, you know, making money from that, that's great.
Yeah. She talks about it on the show. Okay, Robin?
I might listen to that show this week.
And she talk to me about how to give a good presentation for my
usually
speaker
it's just
event.
females just yapping away.
Shut up. Which is what you do all the time.
I know. That's what makes it so funny when I pick on it.
But it is a really good episode because she's very positive. I meet all of these people for the first time on the show. We also have coming up, we have someone who does wildlife. Like I said last week, she's a doctor. She's in the field. She goes into the wildlife. I've never seen like a black female.
A female doctor?
She does National Geographic, goes into the wild, does all, and I cannot wait to have her on. So catch up with Friends Like Us, everybody. We also talk about, and very important because it's coming to a close, this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So we have a couple of guests on that talk about that. This is the episode that's coming out next week. We have Suzette Simon, who is still actually going through treatment and coming out of it. And we had Shauna Lane that's on the current episode. She's talking about her 5th year of surviving breast cancer. And we talk about like things that you need to do. Remember, I always say this, early detection is your best protection. You know, Black women disproportionately are dying from cancer. And it's not that they for any other reason than they're not getting checked soon enough, or the doctors aren't believing them. Because for some reason with Black women, they don't believe our pain. I know, because I told my eye doctor this week, I was like, I feel something in my head. And he goes, eh.
I just got my prostate checked yesterday. It was awesome.
Oh, we don't want to know.
Yes, you do. He said I had the prostate of a 13-year-old boy. Well, that's odd. Why would he say that?
Oh.
Well, anyway, it's a lot of fun for a man to get that done. A lot of fun. Oy.
Oh,
it's hard.
Yeah,
it just goes, okay, drop trow. Worst 2 words in the history of.
You guys have been awesome today. Everyone's coming from left field. Speaking of sinkers, this is left field, but I believe I can prove that something can go faster than the speed of light. But that's for another time.
Heck gets it. Fun bringing up random
All
topics.
right, we gotta go. You guys have been awesome. Don't forget to go and check out. Here, I'm gonna put it in the chat while Evelyn is telling the listeners, the viewers, where to find us or where to find her. Go ahead, Evelyn.
You can find me on my Twitter at Evelyn G. Frick. Last week we were talking about my forthcoming interview with the Jason Alabaster from The Bachelorette. That just came out yesterday. So if you're interested in reading that article, my interview with him, you can find it on my Twitter page.
Can you? You can't put in your Twitter page.
No, it won't let me.
I have an article that just came out 2 days ago from the Arrow, which is the AARP online.
Is it called How to Be a Douchebag? Evelyn, what is your handle on Twitter?
On Twitter, it's at Evelyn G. Frick.
Okay.
No, mine's about gambling and the dangers of online gambling. And it's a good article if you have kids. my friends have told me this is a great article. You should lecture about this, because I got a gambling problem and I'm an addict, and it's just so easy these days. I had to get a regular bookie and everything back in the day, and now it's so easy, and your heroes tell you to gamble, and it's all bad. And I think this generation's in for a very rude awakening once.
Just go in the stock market. Do something that's a little more
Yeah.
sustainable.
Well, there's also similarities in that too, but it's bad. And the online gambling is so simple. And as a 15-year-old, I couldn't wait to just start gambling, and I just feel bad, like it's gonna, you use your, for us at least, we used to get beaten up if we couldn't pay, and now, it could ruin your whole banking life and your credit score and everything. That's actually worse. Beaten up bruises heal. But
where can they find that? Or
it's on it's called the Arrow. It's on the AARP online magazine.
Okay,
cool. The Arrow.
Nice.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's a good article. I think it came out okay.
Right. So, and then also, sorry. And then also you can check me out. I put in the, oh, Gene, we're leaving soon. Sorry. You're like just coming in. You're like, hi, everybody. We do this for an hour from 2:45 to 4, a little bit after 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, New York City time. Every Saturday. Next Saturday, actually, we will be off.
What?
Yes.
No, next Saturday is perfect for me.
Oh. I'm going to be attending Suba Girl's wedding.
Who?
Oh, wow.
Wait, Suba's getting married? I asked her out a couple years ago. I can't believe
she would
it didn't
never.
work out.
And
how do you pronounce her last name?
Suba Girl. It's going to be an Indian wedding. I have to learn a dance, which I am so excited. I always wanted to attend an Indian wedding. Khalees Hawkins is going to be there. It's going to be so much fun. So yes, so that'll be the only reason
we're not on next week. Then let me just say this one thing about the Ritter Run, which is the foundation for John Ritter. Died from I'm part of that organization, and it always comes up during the marathon year, and it's one of those things you want to get checked for that too. That the aortic whatever he died of. Now there's ways to make sure you don't die of it. But there's a foundation, the John Ritter Foundation, and it's a really good organization that Amy Yazbek runs. And we're not on next week. I was going to say you should have her on the show to talk about it. She's a little nutty, but she is coming from a good place.
Well, if she's a little nutty, then maybe
not. Yeah, but the organization's for real, and
well, then that's good enough. That's good enough. Just put it in the chat. Okay. Anyway, I gotta go, you guys. Yeah. I have shows tonight. The shows have been fun. I'm always at the Comedy Cellar. Next weekend, I won't be at the Comedy Cellar. You can check me out, marinayfranklin.com. Make sure you wash your hands. Make sure you still wear a mask if you want to. Don't let no one bully you and tell you how you need to take care of your health. As you now know, you see these young kids are going into the hospital. We've got to protect our senior citizens, and we got to protect those that have low immune systems and low IQs like Dave Juskow. And don't forget, Black Lives Matter. Thank you all so much. We really appreciate you all. All right. Bye.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.